Welcome to Emotional Support Water Bottle with Hannah and Ailish. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish. You might notice something different about Hannah.
Well, I tested out to see if my eyebrows were going to lift for our Halloween costume, and they did.
I don't think we've said it, right?
I don't know if we did.
So if you want to guess.
Yeah. What could this mean?
Or is it still shocking? Like when you look in the mirror?
No, because it kind of, I don't know. Like for some reason, it still looks the same to me. I know it's lighter, but like, I don't know. I still like see my eyebrows.
I still see them.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a weird thing.
I think it would look different for me if your hair was like down and stuff too. And the lighting is a little bit dim if it was like in the, but
if I had like my hair done and stuff, but
like I know it's you. Like
I know,
still
like I know it's like I don't think it looks the same. Like I don't know, like it just looks the same to me.
So we're both gonna have bleached eyebrows if anyone wants to ask. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer just because of work, and I don't want to freak out any of my coworkers. But I'll do it in like a week or two. I think
sometime before then.
Yeah. So anyway, get those guesses rolling in, guys. Anybody who guesses right will get a sticker. So I know I said that I wasn't gonna do it, but I ended up watching the Menendez murders thing. And okay, so I know that you didn't see it, but I just have a couple critiques. So you know how they said that it was like multiple, like all the rumors that were out there, and each episode kind of addressed them. Well, they did, but they never made it clear that like, okay, these are the rumors that were circulating. Like they never said that, and they had it all in like sequential order. So it just seemed like these, you know, like they're acting different or like things are changing, and it seemed like it was everything was happening, right? Like all these theories were coming from them, which like I know that they did change their story up, but it was like everything was in there, like and it made it seem real, like the incest stuff with the brothers, all the alleged abuse, the storyline that he, you know, that which one, Eric allegedly told like the girl that he was like dating when he was in prison, that he like made everything up about the abuse and read it in books and movies, and I'm like, what? It was just kind of hard to follow, because maybe if I would have been like alive and able to follow at the time, it would have made more sense to me. Right. But because I was just taking this as like fictional history, it felt really confusing. Like what the heck is going on here? Right.
If it's just giving you all this stuff that is potentially true, not true, but like making it like a whole scripted like reality, kind of like weird. That's why it's just so, I don't know, weird.
I know. And if Ryan Murphy was going to do it with all these different theories, I wish he would have said, like, it sounds a little lame, but something like theory 1, theory 2, so at least you would know, okay, you know, this is what was circulating, it wasn't that, you know, all these things were actually happening and coming from Lyle and Eric's mouth. And then I saw too that Ryan Murphy was like, they should be thanking me because this was the most that they've been talked about. I'm just like, are you? Like, he is so pretentious.
I know, and he gets his little mitts all over everything.
I know.
It's like, who are you, this like authority? And is he even I know he allegedly is writing this stuff, but it's like, is he even writing them anymore?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many people that work on these projects, and I don't even know how he would have the bandwidth to do it because he has like 15 things going at one time.
I know. It's like,
I don't.
Are you kidding me?
And then Yeah, I don't know. And it just feels kind of, for him to say that, it's like, I think that the Menendez brothers are pretty well known. Like, you're not giving them a name.
Well, and it's like maybe they're not weren't as talked about in that moment now because there's nothing we can do for them.
Yeah.
It's like we could talk about the case, but it's not like
anything's changing right now.
Us talking about it doesn't get them out of jail or prove any innocence.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, like we talked about this before with true crime stuff, it just feels a little grimy.
I know. It definitely gets to that point. Like, if you're listening to a podcast and they're just like talking about like the theories, like this is a theory, blah, 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 blah. That feels a little better than like having like full scripted fake conversations or like alleged real conversations, and it just feels weird.
And I just get really like uncomfortable, I guess, when we're talking about people's sexuality when they have never talked about that.
Right.
So like, okay, just because there was a theory that I think it was that Lyle was gay.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think he's married right now, right? To a woman. So he has never said that to my knowledge.
Right. And then just to like the way they were advertising this show where it was like homoerotic incest was like.
It's so like
distasteful.
I know. I felt, when that first trailer came out, it was like so comical because it was insane. Yeah. And all the comments were like typical Ryan Murphy. Like they were so just like, and it was just it was shocking.
I know. You're like, whoa.
So you're saying they should be thanking you for this?
Like, especially, if that's not true.
I know. And then they had, you might have seen it, but in the one of the last episodes, they had like a shower scene with the two brothers together and it's like even if something like that happened, why are you putting that in there? Right. Because at the end of the day, like, unless it's coming from them, I just think that that's so exploitive and like embarrassing for them.
Like especially like if everything they're saying is true and nothing like that happened, and then somebody's taking your story, your traumatizing story, and then making you like
I know I just
an erotica,
and it just fetishizing it like it was so I just did not like that. We're gonna
cast hot actors,
and now all over TikTok, I don't even know the one's name, but it's like the montages of like how hot he is, and it's like they're good looking guys. I'm not gonna lie. The Menendez brothers were good looking guys too, but it's just like, really? Are you kidding me?
So this just feels off.
Yeah, it just
I'm uncomfy. And then you're like I feel like if I was like younger, I feel like the young people watching this are like more like, oh, like this is what happened. But like as an older person, I'm like, no, this feels really exploitative and like gross, and I'm like, now I feel dirty.
I know.
I feel part of the problem.
That's how I felt at the end of it, because at the end of, like, we talked about it for so long, it's been out there, and I'm just like, okay, I'll just watch it. Like, I'll break down and watch it, and I just like binged it over like 2 days.
Right.
And at the end, I was like, damn, okay. And it totally lost me about halfway through. Like, I just got so bored because I think there were like 8 or 9 episodes and it was just so boring. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of getting a bit monotonous.
Right.
And I definitely checked out, but I finished it. And
hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly. And I'm Lori.
Join 3 middle-aged, middle-class Jersey Shore housewives as we spill the wine and the tea on everything from Bravo's hottest shows to life's everyday drama and entertainment news. I'm the redhead. I'll bring the spice.
I'm the brunette. I'll bring the humor.
I'm the blonde. I'll bring the fun.
It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's always real talk from your favorite trio. Whether it's relationships, parenting, or pop culture, We Wine Whenever has you covered.
We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Tune in for Cocktail Hour with the crew at We Wine Whenever, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
What do you like? What are your thoughts? Like, do you think that
I believe? I don't.
I mean, they did it. You know, we know that they did it, but do you
believe their story?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I want to.
Yeah.
Because it's just such like a murky.
I know.
Thing.
Because it's like we kind of talked about it before with the Gypsy Rose thing. Like, she was in a horrible situation, and so you can understand how she felt. That was
the only way out. But like a murder was still
committed.
Yeah.
But with the Menendez brothers, there was no real proof that anything happened.
Right.
And the way that they like at first said it could be some type of mafia hit, and then their actions after it, and then they changed their story. And you know, you hear all these different things about like, oh, they got it from the Billionaire Boys Club, or you know, whatever. It's like, well, I mean, it casts doubt on the whole thing. And of course, the only two people that could defend themselves or give more information are the ones that are dead.
I know. Well, but then it's like,
that was a close one.
But also, like, why would they kill their parents? Like, it's just like a whole.
Well, here's what I truly do think that some people get so, like, they can get so self-absorbed, and like our, you know, psychology is just kind of insane.
Right.
That like, I think that they could come to almost like a breaking point where they're like, no, we have to do this. Like, if we want our like, I believe that their parents, or especially their dad, was controlling.
Right.
And maybe they just like had the ends justify the means almost. But like, it's just like so many things didn't really fit together. And it's just at the end of the day too, like you said, there still was a murder committed.
Right.
Like, how can you really justify that? Okay, just because this horrible thing happened to you, it was okay that you took two people's lives.
Right. I know. It is like a really weird, but and it's weird too, because it's like that's the way like our legal system works. It's like you commit a crime, then you get a consequence, and we don't really have like that. Well, you were being abused, you know, and there's like a self-defense thing, but it's like you were being abused as a child, and then as you got older, you killed your parents. Like, there's no like,
like loophole,
like situation with those. So it's kind of like, I don't know what
I don't know
like
either.
That right answer is.
And it is just to add another layer to it. They were, you know, getting older. It's like, what would, like, the one was in college, like what would have, and the other one was about to go. So like, what would have stopped them for just cutting off their parents and being like, we're done, except for they were tied to them because of the money thing, you know, like the lifestyle and everything that they had. So it's just like, I don't know. And then you don't know what you would do if you actually suffered horrific abuse.
I know, and like what that would do to you mentally, where it's like, I'd be like, well, yeah, why aren't you just leaving at that point? And it's like, I don't know. It's just
the thing that just gets me is I do think that people lie about things. Like I mean, I think there's plenty of instances where it's been true that people have just like lied or accused somebody of something because it was for their own personal gain. And in this situation, I mean, does it seem insane? Yeah, it does. But like, if you were facing 2 murder charges, you might want to think of anything to get you out of it. Like, I don't know. I've never been in that situation. It was just, I don't know. But overall, I just felt like I would rather see us do documentaries with the people involved.
Like and like you know, the friends at the time, the like even with that Lacey or Scott Peterson one, it was like we were talking to her friends, his family. Like it just felt a little more, I don't want to say ethical, but it does.
Yeah, it did. And it just feels more real. Whereas you can take creative liberties if you're Ryan Murphy and be like, whoa, let's make this a little more.
And it's like, even in like some of his stuff, like in American Horror Story, it was fun where he had like Anne Frank and the Asylum. Like that stuff can be fun, but that's also like a little bit of a murky thing too. So, but it's weird to be able to just like make a story about somebody's life and they're fully still alive.
And you don't even need their permission or anything. Just like... And then for
look stuff up on the internet.
Yeah, well, they should thank me.
He's such a tool.
I know. He's seriously. And then just to round out the Ryan Murphy 15 minutes, which we shouldn't even be giving in this time, but I've been watching that Grotesserie. And I will say that Niecy Nash is very good in it. She is delivering. She is working for her paychecks there. But like most Ryan Murphy productions, it falls flat.
Well, and that's the thing, too, that he does. He can make really good characters and then he like casts them perfectly. But then the overall body of work is kind of like weird. And it's like, I like this. I love this performance, but I don't like this.
I know.
Show or whatever he's doing.
And even like we've said this so many times with American Horror Story, the concept is there.
Always there.
It seems like it's going to be so cool. And maybe it even starts out really cool. Like this with Grotesserie, it's like these horrific murders are being committed. And Niecy Nash is the detective that's trying to figure out. I mean, they're like very graphic.
Right.
Which, I mean, they like look real, but you know it's fake. And there's always that like air about one of his productions that you aren't so captivated into it. Like, you know, it isn't real.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, they're pretty gruesome and pretty graphic, which I know it sounds weird to say, but like I'm intrigued by that. Like that's kind of entertaining to watch.
And especially with like streaming and stuff, we can get a little bit more edgy.
It's around Halloween, so you're like, ooh, spooky season. And then there's kind of like a religious element in there, and there's like some sexual things going on with the priest and the nun, which like I think is a little fun. But it's just like there's so many other things through it that are so lame. And then with Travis Kelce in there's this whole montage where like he is a nurse at this hospital and then they like run away together. He breaks her out and they're literally hand in hand slow-mo running through the hallway, come out to a convertible that's magically alone in the parking lot, and then they ride off into the night. And I'm just like, what? Like, this is so nonsensical.
He just loves casting like
the it person.
Yeah,
I know.
He just loves doing that.
I know. And it doesn't matter. And not that I don't think they're not giving Travis Emmy-worthy performance here, like to work with. But even if they were, I don't think that Travis Kelce is trained to give that type of, to like work with amazing lines and stuff. Like he's just delivering these cheeseball lines and he's doing fine, but it's like, it's Travis Kelce. Right. Because even when like Kim was in Delicate, I never finished that, by the way, but she actually was doing a good job. And I'm speaking as someone who was a longtime Kardashian fan, but she like legitimately, you could tell that she took it really serious and like her lines had a bit more meat on them. But I don't know how many episodes of this are going to be. It's releasing to Hulu like every week, I think. So I haven't been able to just like binge everything yet.
kind of wish they would just go back to that, like
Me
just
too.
giving us an episode a week.
I know. It's like on one hand, I do want that, but on
Right.
the other hand, I
know, but I just like sometimes I just crave that, like, oh, on Monday I watch
I know.
this, on Thursday I watch this, and it's like now I just like, oh, it's Saturday morning, I'll pop this on
Yeah.
for 45 minutes.
I
And then
know.
move
Or
on
like,
with the day.
oh, I've got 2 hours. Oh, I'll just put these on. I know, because like a binge is with like Housewives or something, I enjoy it because sometimes watching those episodes
one by one is boring.
Yeah, but when it's all together, it feels
like,
fine.
Yeah,
but like with a show like that's a scripted show, it's kind of nice to have
sometimes
something to look forward to.
Be left on that cliffhanger.
Yeah. So I'll keep everybody updated how it ends. But I don't know how many episodes they're going to be, so I don't know how much longer we have. And that's the end of my Ryan Murphy talk.
Well, even just that, it's like, and then American Horror Stories is coming back out. It's like, gosh, dude.
Which I did like those because they were
they
only
were like
one
the short
episode.
thing.
Yeah, there were some that were cheesy and like lame, but for the most part, like that format actually works well.
Like those anthologies.
Yeah,
I know. I like those too. Like even with like Black Mirror or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of fun to have like a different episode each time, and then if like you don't watch it for a month, and then you can go back to it, and it's not a big deal.
Well, especially with Ryan Murphy, because like most, like I think a short form thing like that just works really well because he has these ideas and they can be executed in one episode rather than 12.
How do wives figure this out?
Yeah, which it's clear that that's exactly what he does.
I know. They start filming and then he writes the ending.
The last 5 episodes.
Which is wild.
I know.
But I still believe that to be the case.
I wonder, have we heard anything about new American Horror Story?
I don't know if we have, because it usually comes on at this time.
I know, but I don't remember.
What season would that be?
I have no idea. Well, was the last one, The Delicate? That was a season,
and
right?
Didn't that come out?
It had
a weird
2 parts,
though.
Yeah.
Just put American Horror Story new season. Okay, so 12 seasons. So let's do season.
Wow, 12 already.
13.
I feel. What was the one before Delicate? I might have missed that one.
Yeah, there's been a couple. I'm like, is there an American Horror Story show being renewed?
We should do.
Just details are limited Details are limited on season 13 story, but it should focus on existing characters, much like Apocalypse.
Oh,
that was 3 days ago.
Oh, interesting. I know we've talked about the seasons and stuff, but we should do an evergreen episode sometime, maybe like around the holidays when we get busy. That's us ranking our favorite American Horror Story seasons. That would be fun.
That is fun. Yeah, and I love that whole concept of like every season is something different.
Me too.
And it's cool to like see some of the same characters back, and then like they take a break for a season and then come back. Like that in itself was so cool.
I know.
And then like I don't know what kept happening. I don't know.
It just really went off the rails.
And again, like so many good characters that were just like, even was it called Freak Show?
Yeah.
The Freak Show season. It's like so many good characters.
Yeah, that was good. The character development was good.
And then it just kind of like fell flat at the end. But
well, I mean, ever since Jessica Lange left the franchise, things just really...
I know.
It just has never been the same.
So good in that.
I know. I mean, that's how we came to know her.
I know.
Because she
weren't
was
around
before
when
our time. Yeah. And I
I
mean, thank God we did, because
the beauty.
The queen.
She was just so beautiful.
And her voice, like everything about her was just, you want to be her so bad.
I know, you want to like sit down and smoke some cigs with her on the porch.
I know.
She tells you all these stories.
I know.
Gosh.
I know. Ugh. Yeah, we should definitely do that. That would be a fun episode.
That would be fun.
Keep that in the bank
for one of these days.
When we can't record or something. Anyway,
I watched I'm gonna mess up how to say it because it was French. Titan.
I'm not sure what you're referring
I
to.
would call it. I think I was calling it Titan, but
is this a movie?
Yes, it was kind of like an unhinged woman, and I think but it was weird. But it was like metaphorical too.
Horror. Okay.
Yeah, body horror.
Okay.
And had I not just watched The Substance, I would have liked this a lot more. But it's
now the bar's too high.
It really is. I know. I was talking to my husband about that. I'm like, you ever watch like a movie and then you watch another one and you're like, man, I would have liked this one a lot more had I not watched this super exceptional, or I would have liked it a lot, then watched the even better one and still like that. But it's like going backwards kind of. But it was like, I don't know. She appears to, she got in a car accident when she was younger. And so she had like the titanium plate center.
Oh, that's where the title comes from.
Sort of.
Oh.
Okay. And then she is like, I don't even know. At one point she's like being intimate sexually with the car. And appears to get pregnant.
I did
you
hear
might have
about
heard about this
one. Yes. Now that you bring up the car.
And I'm like,
this was a couple years ago, right?
And she got pregnant by said car. I believe that's what was happening. And then by the end, she does give birth to this baby. And then
a car baby?
Kind of. It looks like a baby. It's like laying on, because it's like a whole thing, but laying on the guy. And you can see like titanium, like kind of like in the spine, like in spots. And it was just like, I don't know. Like, I think I just could have appreciated a lot more had I not watched The Substance. But like, it was still like it had the metaphor thing where it's like unconditional love, because there's like a whole storyline with her and her dad. And then she kind of becomes, if I remembering it correctly, like the brother passed away in the car accident that they were in the beginning. And then so she almost like becomes the brother, and like her and her dad have like this whole thing.
So why does she love the car? Where does that come in?
I don't understand that part of it. I'm gonna have to do some more videos. But yeah, no, she like gets into this thing. Like she works at like this car, like her whole life just is based around cars. So she like dances, like there's all these women dancing on cars, and she's one of them. And then this guy like tries to get with her, and she like kills him, and then just like wanders out to the car, and then is like,
she was so turned on from killing him.
I don't know what was going on, but then she got pregnant by the car. So that was like different. I gotta say, it was unique. It was a unique story, I suppose.
I do recall this now that you mentioned that. Yeah, because it was
like
it was shocking for the time, but now we've moved on.
I know. And like the body horror in this was so tame compared to that, because there was like the body horror, and like she was like binding herself, which isn't body horror, but it's like, a lot of stuff going on there, and then she would like hurt herself and stuff, and then like the killing was kind of intense too, but it was like, it just wasn't nearly.
We just can't stop talking about this movie.
I know. I'm like, nothing compares. 5 stars.
I know. Did you change your rating on Letterboxd?
I did. I gave it a 5. I'm like, you know what?
Because like you said, you can't compare that to 13 going on 30.
Right.
Or like, it's in a league of its own. So compare it to other like horror movies you've seen, it's a 5.
So good. Yeah, it's just a good movie, good drama, good comedy.
I know there were some funny parts.
It's just the
good
best.
Message, good acting.
Loved it all. And then I don't know if we told everybody this because I think we were just talking about it, but Demi Moore is 61.
Yes. I don't
Did
think
we say that on
I
here?
don't know. I don't remember.
Well, she's 61.
Oh, what I wanted to say too, just speaking of that, because I watched her, oh my God, who does that? I can't remember. It's not Vanity Fair, but we're on YouTube where the actors will go through the timeline of their careers.
Is it? I know Glamour does one,
but there's another one that does one. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it is Vanity Fair.
It might be Vanity Fair.
Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm sure people know what I'm talking about. But so she was going through, and we had like Ghost and G.I. Jane and blah blah blah. And then when she got to the substance, I just felt like it was the perfect time for her to say, I could kind of relate to this because being 61, or maybe 60 when they started it, or however old she was, like I did go through some insecurities and I modified my body.
Right.
And I,
or my face.
Yeah, my face. And I
regretted it.
Yeah, because obviously she got things fixed and she didn't address it at all. And I mean, it's her personal preference. Right. It's like she doesn't have to do that. But I just think that would add another layer to this.
I know. I will say based on her book that I don't feel like she's the most self-aware person.
Yeah. I don't know what episode it was when you talked about that, but I wish I did because you just tore it apart.
Well, I mean, it was a lot. And that's all I'll say. Just a Selma Blair-esque.
Yeah.
Not as bad. But yeah, she definitely just doesn't. She's like, I don't know why my daughters aren't talking to me. It had nothing to do with me having a seizure after I took all these drugs on the floor. What? Like, huh? So, but it's a little bit disappointing though, because it's like, I can't imagine that she would take a role like this and not feel that way. But for her to not really be vocalizing it, I'm not surprised, but it is like,
it just kind of doesn't make
weird.
sense.
Yeah. It's like just the whole the substance of the substance. It's like, what?
Yeah. And I don't really get how she can go through and talk about this movie without addressing
and
that.
It's almost like
the elephant in the room a little bit.
And it I don't know, that message of it and everything means so much to us.
Yeah.
Why doesn't it mean as much to you?
Right.
But it does. It's almost like she can't. It's again, a freaking meta moment where she can't.
It's too close.
Yeah,
almost.
she can't literally admit what she's feeling because that would be admitting to her feeling the way her character felt in the substance, and it's like she won't do that.
But I think it would be cool if she did.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why because
she's not the only one that feels that way. Look at all these celebrities and even normal people that are doing pretty extreme things because they don't want to age, or we talked about, would we take the substance? Yeah, especially if I was in Hollywood, heck yeah, I would take that.
And it's just and even just that, what it means to be older, even if you're not getting the work done and how you're treated. It's we're not getting that from her. As much as I'd want.
Even so she got the work done that made her look a little wild. Now it's been corrected, or at least settled in.
Right.
She looks fantastic. You would not guess that she's 61. Right. And that I feel is kind of an unsaid too, because she is saying as an aging actor, roles for older women, but you don't look your age because you've done things to make you not look your age.
Right. And you literally played 11 years younger.
Yeah. And we're just not going to talk about that part of it.
No.
We're not going to rip that Band-Aid off and just be honest.
Right. Or I've felt like the ugly monster on the stage. It's
Because obviously when she got that work done and she walked that runway show, it was like...
That was literally the substance, that monster coming up on the stage. Like, where... Donk, donk, donk. I want to shake her. Like, hello.
Okay, she didn't look as bad as the
No,
monster.
but it's still
but
like...
the same like plot was there. Everybody was like, who the heck is that?
Yeah,
like,
it was the same type of reaction that this monster got.
Yeah.
And it's like,
hello, we're not going to go there. That's what's just frustrating, because even with Hollywood in general, we've said this so many freaking times, they can't admit what work they're getting done. They can't. It's like what?
She's literally
water.
like, what work?
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, excuse you?
Yeah, like, we know that you've gotten things done. Like, it's not just skincare.
Right. So it is like a weird, like, okay, but then you're like,
then there's the message gets lost.
Yeah,
though,
you're like,
too.
because you're not taking it right.
It's so frustrating. Like, I just wish, and I thought she was phenomenal on this, but I just wish in the interviews that I've seen in like post that she would just go there, be fully transparent and honest. It's like, and if I was an interview, I wonder if her publicist or something is telling them like not to ask those questions.
I know, like, and I could totally see that,
could
especially
too.
because it probably was like a devastating moment when you're seeing everyone say, what in the heck happened to you?
And I get that, but isn't this movie the perfect opportunity to just address it and be like, yeah, like, I lived this.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And luckily I was able to undo some things.
Right.
Like, what a freaking great story to tell and lesson to learn, you know?
And it just...
I
know. I just wonder if like her book came out now after she had filmed this movie, like would it have been the same like surface level? Like, I played. Oh, how ironic, you know? And it's like, what?
I was just randomly cast for this. Yeah, and you can't tell me that director that she didn't know that. I mean, you purposefully cast people. I think this is a very purposeful, I like forgot that word for a second, casting with Demi Moore. But I don't know. She's not going to go there, I guess.
Maybe not.
We'll see. I did hear when I was listening to The Town that there is some like Oscar buzz for her, apparently.
Well, I hope there is, because it was deserved, and it'd be such a beautiful full circle moment if she got up on that stage.
I know, it really would.
As the beautiful Demi Moore.
I know.
Accepting her award.
It really would be a full circle moment.
No, I mean, I hope so.
I hope she at least gets a nomination.
I know.
But yeah, it's pretty dry with who and what will get nominated.
We will see.
So, yeah.
Maybe that Kinds of Kindness will probably get some...
Emma
Stone.
Well, it's interesting though, because as I've been listening to The Town, like, they haven't even been mentioning it at all. And I think it's that weird thing where like you have that full year basically to get your movie out and have it be eligible for a nomination, but the movies that come out closer to that end date always seem, because they garner more of, like, it's just at the top of mind, you know,
versus like something that came out in February.
Yeah. Speaking of just things coming out, I saw the first trailer for that Bob Dylan movie. What is that one called again?
Oh, what is that called?
Unusual something, uncommon. It's like something from one of his songs. I can't think of it right now.
Stand by.
But yeah, with Timothée Chalamet. I don't know. I've just heard mixed reviews on this one.
A complete unknown.
Okay, I was completely off. Yeah, I've just heard mixed reviews. I don't know. I think these biopics are always tough.
They are tough. Especially if you're not like perfect casting, but like I think he is really good casting.
He does, like, when we've seen screenshots from or like pictures, stills from whatever, he does look like a young Dylan,
right?
But it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's not that I don't think that Timothée Chalamet can do a lot of things. I just think it's hard when you're a well-known actor and you are playing a real person.
Like, it's better to find somebody who's like newer in the industry, because I can eat more or like less separate them. Like, it's going to be hard for me to separate Bob Dylan and Timothée Chalamet. But if it was an unknown, I could be like, oh yeah, that's Bob Dylan. Like, in some weird way.
Because even, I mean, I don't know his prep work for this or anything, but like the thing that came to mind was The Blind Side, when Sandra Bullock transformed into the mother figure there. Like, she clearly put so much work into that. There was an accent, there's a wig, there's all these things. Like, it really did, like, you could tell it was Sandra Bullock, but she really embodied this woman, and that woman wasn't like a well-known movie
like
star.
Celebrity that we're used to seeing, where it's like, I could be like, oh yeah, she's playing this woman that I don't know that much about.
Because even when, which I didn't see the Priscilla movie, but with Jacob Elordi playing a young Elvis, he did like look, pretty good. Right. But I still was like, Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, it almost made it, which I didn't see that movie, but it almost made it feel like cheesy-ish, because I don't know, it just like felt that way.
But with the girl, and I'm sorry if she's like actually well known, but I did not know her, the one that played Priscilla,
where I could be like, oh, that's Priscilla Presley.
I felt more like she was the character, because I didn't know her. Oh no, I don't think that's a movie I definitely would not go to theaters to see, the Bob Dylan one. I'm not a huge like Dylan fan. Like, he's fine. His music is obviously iconic, but I wouldn't be running to see that one.
No.
That's the thing too with those types of biopics. Like, you're not going to pull everybody.
Right. It's like you're like need the mega fans. Like, there's not too many biopics that I want to see that are based off of like celebrities, but I'm more wanting to see them if it's about like some extraordinary person that had to do with a certain thing, like in history or whatever. I find those
like with Oppenheimer.
Like that to me was a lot more fun to watch versus like, well, I don't really know much about him, or like even the I, Tonya one, like now I haven't watched that, but I wanted to, because that's like a scandalous story thing. But then like part of me was like, but I don't know.
I know. It's just, it's not going to bring me into the theater. It might be something that I would stream later, but it's not going to get me in the seat.
No. I'm going to save that for something else.
Like, so silly, but it's like, no.
I can only go to the movies so many times a year. And it has to
My card has been punched too many times. I can't go anymore.
I listened to Elena Urquhart. I'm going to mess up. From Morbid, Elena. It's book that she wrote, and it's just a fiction book, The Butcher and the Wren. And I thought it was good, but this was probably the only book that I was like, that actually could have been longer. Like,
oh.
Yeah, because...
You don't hear that?
No, we don't. You're like, why is this taking so long? But especially because when I had the speed up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. It goes by.
It went really fast. And then I have like 5 minutes left. But at the end, they did like a interview thing.
Oh, that's fun.
Like, where Ash from Morbid was interviewing her.
Fun.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. There's been, I think, like one other time. I think it might have been the Caraval last book or the first book. They did like a little interview with the author. Yeah, so that was fun. But I just thought that was kind of cute. But it felt like a Morbid episode. But then I'm like, you're kind of like cashing in on people wanting to do that because you're a fan of Morbid. So it's like it all made sense. And I don't know if people really own like audiobooks that much. But yeah, just kind of like, it's kind of like a little bit of like the true crimey thing. It was from like the killer's perspective and then the detective's perspective. But I felt like they got to like the like twist kind of like too quick.
Oh.
Like, I think there could have been more to get to that, and it just kind of like came out of nowhere. But I mean, it was her first book.
Yeah, so
still
cut some slack.
Yeah, so I mean, it was pretty good. It was fine. And they came out with the second one, or she came out with the second one, sorry. The Butcher Games, or the Butching Games, because it kind of like ends where there could definitely be like a sequel.
It's just, to write a book is such a feat, I think.
I know, and trying to be original.
Yeah.
And like having, because she did a book that's like basically what she talks about all the time, like true crime stuff, and to be like trying not to take full elements from that, but then like still kind of doing that.
I know. And I mean, this is a little bit snobby of me to think as someone who's never written a book, but you know how anybody can basically write a book and then just put it on Amazon or whatever. And I just don't like that, because I'm like, but what's the point in my mind? Like, go through a publisher, and then you're gonna actually, like, if it is a real good idea, then you're gonna make way more money on it.
Right.
Like, if I spent time to write an actual book, like, I would want to be cashing in on that. That takes a long time.
Right.
That made me think, because my coworker's friend wrote like a children's book, and you see so many of those on Amazon, and she just like put it on there, and it's like, well, nobody's gonna buy that, because how would they even find it?
Right.
But hers is an audiobook, so that's a completely different thing, and I don't know how that works either. Do people buy audiobooks?
I don't know, because I don't really know how Audible works.
Me either.
But it sounds like you pay for a subscription, and then you get like, it sounds like not that many audiobooks a month. Like, it's not like this unlimited thing.
Yeah, so if you want more, do you have to pay?
Right, and then they'll be like, and you get one
to keep.
You're like, what am I keeping? Like, there's maybe like one book I would maybe want to like re-listen to, and it'd be nice to like access it more, but I don't know, like I wouldn't be just listening to it all the time.
That's what I think is weird too, because if I buy a book and I have it, like, I don't typically read books again, but I would be more likely to pick it up and read it again versus listening to it
again. Yeah, because I think that's kind of really interesting. I don't know what people do. Like, do people have shelves? Because like at the library where you used to be able to get the CDs and the audiobooks, like, do people have shelves?
Well, I don't know, because then it just makes you wonder from like the business end of it. Like, how do you make money on that?
I always wonder that too, just even about library books in general.
Yeah.
Like, how do they make money? Or does that go into any statistics? Like, your book was taken out, 44 times this year.
Right.
And do you get any kind of like compensation? Because even in that Libby app, it'll be like, oh, we don't have the rights to this book anymore.
Well, because
what does that mean?
That's a good point, because those books are obviously in bookstores too, but that doesn't mean that people are buying them. Right. So I wonder if there is some type of metric where your book was borrowed X amount of times, or if it's just like, well, the libraries get X amount of copies and you get just a flat rate for that.
Right. Yeah, I wonder that too.
I don't know.
Or how that distribution works, because it's like libraries are so cool that you can get access to these books for free. Yeah.
Literally, because you don't even have to pay for a library card.
But then like, wouldn't you almost not want your book in a library?
Yeah.
Because you'd want it to be more
You want people to buy it. Yeah. Speaking of libraries, I had a book that I checked out, and I had finished it in the beginning of August.
I know, it's hard.
And then I forgot. Like, I thought I returned it, but it was just sitting in my book bag.
You're like,
and I was like, oh my God. And I just returned it like a few days ago. But they never sent me a notice or anything.
I know, they're just like,
yeah.
I guess you wanted it more.
I know.
It's like, what? What?
I know. So when next time I go to the library, they're probably like, "You're a delinquent."
I'm not allowed to get any.
No, I returned the book. I don't have to pay for it. I returned it.
I know, it's so weird.
I remember one time. Remember back in the day when we'd do research projects and we'd have to take books out from the library.
Gosh.
Well, some of those would be like pretty expensive because we had to get encyclopedias or whatever. And I remember for whatever, one of our science fairs or something, I had taken books out and I was past the due date and they sent me a bill and it was like for the cost of the books and it was a couple $100. And I was like, oh my God. Like I remember freaking out, like literal fear through my whole body because my dad, I'm like, how am I going to pay for this? My dad is going to be so mad. I don't understand. But then I just like returned them and then it was fine. But I like lost
listen here, Missy.
my mind.
I know, because it was scary. It was like this gun to your back thing.
I know.
And then you'd get like 12 books and you'd have 3 weeks
Yeah,
or 4
I know.
weeks maybe.
Which why did we check
out
that
so
many?
I know. You're like, well, I'm gonna get to it, and then you just literally never
You
did.
just don't.
You
It's
read
different if you're
one.
like a little kid and you're
Right.
taking out all those. But yeah, I remember being a teenager and having this huge stack. I'm like, what am I doing?
Literally.
I'm not gonna read all these. And then they would just sit on like the table for the 2 or 3
I
weeks,
know.
and I'd never even.
Or you'd
crack
start
them
like all of them
Yeah.
and not finish a single one.
I know.
Like I'm gonna read.
We need to do at some point. I don't know how we'll swing that. Maybe for an evergreen episode, we should go to that studio.
I know.
I've kind of forgot about it.
I know. Well, and then they were supposed to get a hold of us, and then they kind of like didn't.
I know, but it has to be open at this point. That's
unless
been
they
like
had
a
some
year.
weird delay.
Yeah. No, we should just. I wonder if we have to book it though. That's the only thing I don't
would
know.
think probably.
Yeah.
Unless it's, I don't know.
I don't know how many
Everybody's
people
doing a
use it.
podcast these days. People are making their SoundCloud rap songs. I gotta record that somewhere.
We know there's a few of them out there that are from our town. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that would be fun. We'd look really professional if we did that.
We would in the studio. I know. I want. It's like we just can't.
We'd have to get a little sign and put it behind it.
Recording.
Emotional support water bottle.
Get one of those light up ones.
Oh, we
the
can't
neon
afford
lights.
those. We're not getting any revenue here right now. We can't afford a neon sign unless somebody wants to donate.
But anyway.
Did you have any other hot topics?
No, it's been kind of like a weird. It was
I
like
know.
a weird weekend. I don't even remember it. Oh, I guess I went to a family wedding. Oh, I wanted to say that was kind of funny, but not funny. That there's a lot of TikTok songs at this wedding. And it's like even some of the aisle walking out songs, and they're pretty songs, but it was just like this weird, like, this is the world we're living in. And it's like a younger couple,
so that's why
it made sense and stuff. But I'm like, oh, this is like the life we're living. Like, we're so on.
But it's so crazy though, because it just makes it feel like nobody's having a unique experience.
Yeah, it's like everybody's using this song for their wedding. And like, I don't know. It just, I don't know. And I'm like, is there really like, and I'm not trying to like pick apart anything. The wedding was very beautiful, but it just was like, is there any sentimentalness to these songs that have only been out for a year or less?
Well, because, I mean, typically when you are getting married,
you do like the classics.
Yeah. Or you're like, when you pick out like your first dance or like father, daughter, mother, son, you're like, oh, this always makes me emotional. Or like, this makes me think of you. Like you choose it because they have meaning.
Versus like, yeah, this is a really pretty song, but it's on TikTok. I don't know. It's just like a weird, I don't know. It's just kind of like
it is weird.
A weird like meta moment. I don't even know how to explain it, but other than that, I mean, it was a nice wedding. I was like,
didn't you say the food was really good?
Oh my gosh, the food was freaking amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm like, this is the best wedding.
Which is like not typical with weddings. You just don't know.
You're like making food in bulk and everything, but this was like,
that's nice.
I was like, this is crazy, man. I'm glad I came.
It was all worth it. I'll just let the TikTok songs go. Yeah.
Well, and they had like one of those like photo picture things that everybody has now, but they sent you the picture like to your phone instead of printing it out. So I was kind of like,
it's kind of nice, but also
like kind of a bummer because I wanted like the little
and you put it on your fridge or if people would post on Instagram, it was like the cool thing to like to have it like on the table.
But so we have me and my husband just
you won't do anything with it now.
I'm like, well, okay.
It'll get lost in your phone. That's what'll happen.
But anywho.
This is like stupid and random, but I told you about the car wash that I went to, and it was just like the coolest car wash I've ever been in my life. And it actually like cleaned my car. And the last car washes I've been in haven't really done a good job. But do you want to take a guess at how much this car wash would have cost?
I don't even know what they are these days.
Just throw something out.
25?
Pretty darn close. 22, which is kind of insane to me, I think. Like, I don't know. That's a wild price for a car wash.
Or like, can't I just like do it myself for no money then?
I mean, I could, but I never make it look as good.
I know. No, I'm just saying like,
in general.
It's like, I guess I'll just do it myself.
Right. And then they had like, so it was one where you kind of had to go on the track and then you put it in neutral and it brings you through. But they had a monthly package, or maybe they even had more. I didn't look into that because for my spin class, we got a free car wash. So that's how I got it, whatever. And I would not be paying $22. But I guess people are just car people and they're into that.
Well, my grandpa used to wash his cars like all the time. I mean, he was always out there washing it, hand washing it. I don't know if I think he just takes some places now, but that was like a whole thing. We'd be out there and I'd do it, but I wasn't doing it right.
You did it wrong, of course,
And but then we could never do it at my house because of the water from our hose in like the country or whatever. So then it was like we never washed our cars, but then Grandpa'd be out there dubbing it. And then he'd have the vacuum cleaner out there just detailing his own car. That was like a whole thing.
Well, I will say this one, if you got like the base level $22, there are free vacuums that you can, and they're like, they were really nice. I didn't use it because like mine isn't that bad right now, but they were like, I don't know, they seemed like they were really long, like little,
you can get all the places.
And that's pretty cool that they were free because I don't know, I just feel like you don't see that all the time.
And it's like not everybody has like a shop vac stuff, but I remember going in the car washes when you were little and you're like,
it was so cool. And this one had like different colored lights that came on.
I remember one time I went in one where it was like pink, yellow, and blue stripes.
Yeah, that's
like,
cool.
And it would always feel like so cold.
I know, because all your like light source was gone. I know. This one, the end had the like dryers, which I do appreciate that too, because some don't have that. But these were so high powered that I heard them like indent my car. Like I think it's fine. It was just like, but they like pushed the metal in for a minute. I'm like, oh my god,
yeesh, that thing was
high power. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not really that much of a car person.
Yeah, I'm not really either.
But I don't like my car being super dirty like on the outside either.
I know that does get annoying, and then it's like there's like dead bugs all over, and it just
hate
like
that.
burns up
especially
in the
winter too, when we get the salt.
Yeah,
and
it gets all
roady. I hate that.
I know that is annoying. It's like, ugh.
And I have a black car, so it's always so noticeable.
Mm-hmm. I know. What color should cars be that are? I guess red isn't too bad with that stuff. Silver like doesn't look as dirty, but then you can't see like silver cars on the road when it's raining.
Well, I only think there should be a limited amount of colors for cars. I think like a dark blue, a dark green, that's fine. Red is fine. Black, silver, white.
Oh yeah,
that's really it for me. I don't see
white cars very much anymore.
No, I wonder if they're phasing those babies out.
Like who wants the giant
Unless
white
if it's like a freaking like Mercedes or a Cadillac or something, you might see white ones.
But even then, I still feel like they're always doing the black ones.
Well, there was a lady in a white Mercedes she was in a BMW. When I was on my way over here, she annoyed me. So she saw it fresh on my mind.
See, like even if I could have like a really nice car, I wouldn't want one because it's like then you have to park it really far.
I know. I wouldn't even want to do that.
No, it'd be too much. Like I'd want like a mid car.
But I guess if you can afford it, do you care as much?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Because it does seem like they care still a lot about their car. Like it always feels like they're car people too.
Yeah, like it's their status symbol kind of. Yeah, no, I don't care about that at all. But whatever.
Dinner up. One time the kids were like, I was at a birthday party when they're like drawing on it with chalk. My husband's like, stop. I'm like, oh, is that bad?
Won't it just come off?
Like give it a little bump here and there. I hit my husband's work car.
Oh no.
It's fine.
Oh, just a little love tap.
Yeah, but he had to like call his boss and everything.
Oh no.
I was like, what?
Did it make a mark?
A little. But it's like, what do you if you have take home cars?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, what do you expect? Of course they're gonna get hit. Or like even like the neighbor could have backed into it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what do you want from me?
Like it wasn't your fault, I'm sure.
No. We have a tight squeeze in the driveway. And,
you do, honestly.
Yeah, so
and it's a big truck.
Right.
Come on.
I know, like what do you want from me? You know?
My dad used to get so mad because we would have two cars in the garage. And then this was before I could drive. So it was like whatever. My dad had like a truck and then a car. And I would always take my bike out. But he would always get mad because I would just take it in between the two cars, and sometimes it was a little tight and I would scraped it before, and not even bad. It's not like I was like just like a little tiny like dent on accident. Oh, he would get so mad at me. I'm like, well, how else do you want me to get my bike out?
I know. And it's like, I don't know, to me, like it's like, oh, like it's just not a big deal to me.
Yeah, like I don't want to purposefully do that, but if it happens, it's like,
like if somebody hits a car, like I've had, I was sitting in my car and a lady opened the door and like smacked my car, and I like looked over, she goes, oh, sorry, and like didn't even like, I'm like, okay, but then it was like, I mean, I guess it doesn't bother me.
What do you do? Like, I don't even know. Like, excuse me, ma'am. Can I get your insurance?
For this little scuff.
I know. But it is kind of rude if that were me. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so I'd be like, sorry.
Ooh! But she like didn't even
care.
Oh, sorry. Like, okay.
Like you slammed into my car. What's wrong with you?
Anywho.
People just aren't considerate anymore.
No.
Okay, guys, it's no secret that Hannah and I have a sweet tooth, but we hate the guilt that we feel after we've binged on some of our favorite cookies, donuts, or other treats. So that's where dough comes in. Dough is an edible cookie dough company that also has donut holes and some delicious chocolate hazelnut spreads that you can eat and not feel so guilty afterwards. These treats are made with extra ingredients that are good for you, gives you extra energy, makes you focus more, and the best part is that they are vegan and gluten-free, which is so amazing and something that you don't find all the time. And sometimes when you get vegan or gluten-free products, they taste vegan and gluten-free. But these dough, cookie doughs, and donut holes do not skimp out on the flavor, and they are so delicious. We have tried the cookie dough raw and baked, and it's good either way. And one of our favorite new donut holes are the collab donut holes with Chamberlain coffee, and it's the cinnamon sugar. And these are just so amazing. You want to eat them with your favorite cup of coffee in the morning. They're just so delicious. And the best part is that they come with some extra vitamins in there to, get your day going and help you focus a little bit more. So if you want to try these vegan, gluten-free, and delicious products, you can go to Eat Dough, and that's spelled DEUX.com to place an order. And if you use the code WaterBottle15, you can get an extra 15% off of whatever you order. That is dough, spelled DEUX, and use WaterBottle15 for 15% off. Well, should we do our Housewives recap?
Sure.
Okay. We have to do our 2 episodes, which a lot of them were just the same information, honestly, because it just seems like we can't let go of stuff. So since we didn't do it last week, the first episode is from 2 weeks ago, and then our other one is from last week. The one from 2 weeks ago was when Terry and Heather had their little tiff on camera.
Mm-hmm.
I personally didn't mind that because I think that it did seem like genuine.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I heard that some people were like, of course she doesn't want to look a certain way and have Terry say whatever. Like, she's just playing for the cameras. But from my perspective, I'm like, well, I wouldn't want my husband or partner to,
especially if they're like confirming what everyone hates about you,
right? Like, I wouldn't want that. I did think it was kind of funny though, because you could tell that Terry was just like over it in that moment, and he's like, F it, like, I'm just gonna say this.
But also, like, just thinking about like Heather needing time to like think about it, and
because that comes up.
Is that a bad thing?
I know.
I'm like,
that's what.
Maybe some people think that's annoying, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to like think about really how you feel about something, and then come back and talk about it.
I do think that sometimes it's a little bit overkill when it's like we have to have another conversation and another one,
or like, we're not gonna talk about this now, I have to think about what I'm gonna like. I could like that is annoying, but like, it's not unhealthy.
No, I think because especially as a housewife, we've seen so many
fly off the handle moments,
and then the next second they're like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. It's like, well, maybe if you would have taken a second,
thought about what you wanted to say.
And then even for Heather, like, because this comes up in last week's episode too, like taking a moment when you're not angry or just heated or feeling confronted or whatever, you can think of it from a different perspective. And then maybe that helps you in this situation to understand the other person. So like, I think that it's okay to have to process things like that.
I know. I just was like, I mean, it's an annoying trait for the other people around you, but I don't think it's a bad trait.
But you're not going to make me hate
it's
Heather
like,
and Terry. I'm sorry.
It's like a healthy.
It's not going to happen. And then Terry was in there getting his nose job done, which he didn't go to Paul, which was kind of funny, which I feel like they were like, oh, but would you want your friend to do
I know. I'm like, I don't know if I'd want, I don't know what
not
would
that
be
you wouldn't
comparable.
trust them.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if I don't know. I guess it depends on what it was.
It would
but for
just
like a
be-
plastic surgery thing, because what if you didn't like it?
Yeah,
and then you're like,
it's
man, at your friend.
awkward. Yeah.
Or if you secretly don't like the way they do noses or
Right.
something, it's like, well,
Or even the cost thing. Like,
Right.
if you were a surgeon, like, I would feel so like, okay,
Can I
well,
have a
what do I pay you? Or you might feel like, well, I've known Ailish for forever. Like, I'll do it at this, or I'll do it for free. But it's like, but you shouldn't have to do that. Like, so I understood why
yeah,
he
it's like I'd
wasn't.
rather just pay somebody
Who I don't
else.
know,
Yeah.
who's still good. I also did see in the side by side, I know people were like, I don't even see a difference. I did see a little difference.
I know, and it's like he wasn't trying to get a whole new
No,
nose.
he didn't want
It's like we're like, why do you still have your stupid nose?
Yeah.
It's like, because I just wanted to fix a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't say he was changing the whole
Yeah.
shape of it.
Literally.
Yeah, I thought it looked different. And the after picture is obviously when there's quite a bit of swelling.
Yeah,
so
it's like
it's
it's not
really
gonna
hard to
be-
see anything at that point. We have Jen and Ryan shopping, and we learn that Ryan tailors all of his clothes, even his underwear, which is not a surprising trait for me to learn about Ryan. He has horrible style, but I guess his clothes are well fitting.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny when that shop worker was like, oh, you guys know Eddie and Tamra, right?
Like, yeah, I know you watched The Housewives, so I don't know why we're having this stupid conversation.
He just bought that jacket.
Okay, well, I'm going to style it different.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Like, what does that mean to me? Nothing. We learned that Ryan allegedly talked about Tamra and Eddie on a podcast, which seemed like a big fat nothing. For me, they played back the clips.
Not to defend him, but like it really, he was pretty.
He was so
PR
diplomatic.
about it.
Yeah, I know.
I almost kind of liked him.
I know.
It was so
he
nice.
came off pretty well.
And I was like, wow, he's not bashing her as a parent.
Because the one interviewer totally set it up for that. She was like, we know that she's the horrible mom. Her kids won't talk to her. And she must be just jealous of you guys, right? What you and Jen have. And he was like, well, I don't live in that house.
I don't really, yeah.
I'm not going to comment on that. Like, he answered it perfectly. The news breaks that John is suing Shannon, and Shannon butt dials Tamra after.
I didn't believe that for a friggin' second.
Me either. It was so, like, first of all, we had a one-on-one shot with Tamra where
At
she's
the
just
same
happens
time.
to be
Yeah.
calling. Like, come on. It was probably freaking Tamra that leaked it. She's like, hey guys, get the cameras over.
Or it was like a voicemail or something.
Yeah.
She's like, listen to this. Let's pretend she butt dialed me.
Which Shannon did. She was losing it in that.
I know.
butt
And then I
dial.
was like, well, maybe she's in there. But she should be in there as Tamra Judge. Because I'm like, if she was in there as Tamra Barney, then it would have popped up. I don't know.
Yeah, that seemed pretty manufactured to me too. And then in last week's episode, when Tamara's like, well, you know you butt dialed me, and I heard, and she's like, what? Did I?
What?
Yeah. It's like, come
I
on.
know. It's like, I just can't.
Even if you like did, that's happened to me, like in the past.
Yeah, like it does happen.
But like when I realized that I did it, you know, I mean, Shannon picked up the phone and was like, hello? It's like you knew that you had somebody on the line,
I know,
Shannon.
like that name was up from the caller ID.
Like, you all have iPhones. Katie's hosting this dinner with the spouses. Heather is not going. She says no. And then Shannon is not invited because she doesn't have a spouse at this time. I actually liked the concept of this dinner. It felt kind of like an original Housewives, like organic.
Yeah, like with the guys there too, because they really we
haven't really done
there
that
anymore.
Yeah. And for me, it actually was believable that this group of people would be getting together.
That all these couples would get together.
Yeah. So I thought that was good until it went completely off the rails with Tamra. And before that happened, Gina just talks about talks to her ex about stuff with Travis and how she's like sad because her ex and his fiance are planning to get married. And then she's like, I used to have that. And it just feels like we don't know what the heck is going on with the Travis thing.
I know.
And now they're supposedly still together and fine. Like, I just don't know what the heck is happening there. So then we get to the dinner, and I thought it was freaking hilarious when Ryan came in and went to give Eddie a hug, and he's like, oh, you're not going to give me a hug?
Like, no.
Like, that was it. Like, flat. No. I thought that was just funny. And then he goes in for a big bear hug to Shane, and Shane just takes it. And then they had the call back to Kelly Dodd calling Shane a little bee, which was, even though I didn't watch that season, it was just kind of funny. Like we said, to see Kelly Dodd back on our screen.
I know. And I had, I think I already told you that, but I was like, oh, I watched that. But I don't remember like Emily. Yeah, I was like, but I remembered her and that person. Or her husband, I mean, like there and that all happening, but I didn't remember her
not
being
really
like a
realizing.
thing.
Yeah. So basically, this whole dinner, like, things are pretty fine. Eddie makes it clear to Matt, Katie's husband, that he thinks that Tamra should be cut off with her drinking. He mentioned to her too that, like, hey, take it easy tonight. Tamra absolutely did not. She just went,
just fired up.
Yeah. Per usual, over nothing. And it was just over the podcast where Ryan said absolutely nothing. But in Tamra's mind, he was attacking her as a parent, Eddie as a business owner and a man. I mean, the lowest of the low blows. And Ryan is literally just like, what? And I actually thought, again, that he came off pretty well here.
He did come off well, and he's like, no, I thought that was a funny joke.
Yeah.
Like, like, I didn't mean it mean.
Well, because the dick pic thing where he was like, worry about your own, Ryan. Regard. And then Tamra totally threw her son under the bus. I didn't even know that.
Me either. I didn't know that happened either. Well, it would have been like freaking 50. I know, it would have been like freaking 20 years ago.
Why bring that up?
Literally.
And then because I looked back when I first saw the screenshot on there, the link on there, I think it said like dick pic or whatever, but it's his stupid line of hats or whatever. Like, that's what it is linked as.
It wasn't a link to the photo. Yeah. You freaking crazy lady. Well, and that's the thing, because Tamra flies off the handle
with no like facts.
Yeah, and it's like, it makes the bad people look good and like victims,
Yeah, because Eddie was, Ryan was there so calm.
Yeah, looking just very
perplexed
good.
And
as everyone was also sitting there like, what in the heck is
I know. And then Eddie looked like he wanted to frickin' off himself. Like, he could not even stomach.
I know, he cannot stand she's back on the show.
I
cannot stand
I think we said this when we were just talking last week, but I think that there's something more going on with their marriage, and I've heard rumblings.
Can you imagine being married to Tamra? I mean, my gosh. No. Well, and plus it's like there's just been so much drama with like her kids, and it's just her mom.
I think that they just make it seem like it's so wonderful and perfect, but I don't think that it actually is.
No.
I mean, he seemed so fed up.
I know. He's like, here we go again.
It was hilarious when Matt brought out a blanket and wrapped him in it, and then he's just
literally
sitting there.
sat there wrapped up in a blanket.
I know. She brings up the FBI thing, which we get into more in the next episode. And then I did think that Jen was actually being really genuine here, where she was like, Eddie, what are you doing?
Like, help.
Like, yeah, like I really thought, and especially since this is Jen's second season, like this is still very real to her, in my opinion.
She's like, why are we doing this right now? Like, she doesn't get the like, oh, this is
Tamara's MO all the time. But yeah, I mean, she felt really like, I don't get why this is happening. Like, we're friends. I've known you for so long. Like,
I thought
why?
that was genuine too. She's like, why are you letting this happen right now?
And then he's like, I'm not her keeper. Like, really, Eddie? Come on.
I know. Like, I would hope if I'm flying off the handle, somebody says
especially
something.
my husband.
I know,
please reel me in.
I know. Like, yeah.
So she ends up leaving and then falls as she's going into the car, and she's out there by herself. And then Eddie's just still wrapped in the blanket. He doesn't even move. He literally didn't even flinch when she got
ready
up.
to finish his food.
Yeah, he wanted to stay and hang out. Other than that, there was just some stuff with like Shannon, how basically she's still just feeling sorry for herself and the whole lawsuit thing. And at one point, I can't remember what they said first, but it was like, you know, them all having a good time at this dinner. And then it cuts to Shannon, like with poor Archie, like, please leave Archie out of this. I don't trust him in this home anymore. I just don't want to see Archie being exploited. And then she's like, I am sick. I am sick to my stomach about this whole thing. Like, unhinged, and then doing her face routine and then crawling into bed. And they really gave her the like pathetic edit.
I know. I'm like, really? You had the camera people in there till you fell asleep? Come on.
I know. Get out of here. And then to wrap this up, kind of, we hear another thing from Emily about the size 12 thing. And she's like crying at dinner, and she completely does not take any accountability at all for how she screamed at everybody and was so horrible and mean and rude. And she's just like, well, Alexis never should have gotten involved.
Right.
It's like, are you joking me right now? Like, you're not going to say, yeah, I really took it too far there.
Right.
Like, and even in this next episode, she still will not admit. Like, she was fully in another reality. Like, I don't understand. And this is what, the 4th episode, and we're still talking about this stupid situation.
She has a definitely one of those, what are they, the apology languages issue. Because she was not getting the apology.
No, and in my opinion, Heather did give her what she was looking for, but it wasn't in the perfect, specific way that she wanted it. And she like couldn't articulate that without getting really mad.
I know.
So that was just frustrating. All right, I'm ready to move on to the next one because that was basically it. This just pretty much picks up where the last one left off. Tamara's in the van, and then Katie comes out to check on her, and that's when Tamara again is like, ask him about the FBI. Ask him about that. And then Eddie finally is like, well, I guess I better get going. Takes off the blanket, and then he hugs Ryan.
I know, that was wild.
It's like nothing happened. He's like, and Ryan's like, oh, I'm sorry, man. And he's like, it's okay. It's all right. I mean, they were like, it was like they were cool. That was so crazy.
It was bizarre.
So then he leaves, and Jen finally realizes that Tamara is not loyal to anyone. Is Brett home?
What time is it? No, we have a couple minutes.
Oh.
But the neighbors
Oh,
are.
are they out
I wonder where they're going.
Okay.
It's awfully late.
We're recording here. Jen's like, Tamara isn't loyal. I'm like, please, Jen, just realize that. Like, she's not. She flip-flops all over the place. She'll use you and abuse you and then be your best friend. Like, do not get sucked into this again.
Right.
But it was kind of, it seems like Jen really does have respect for Eddie and really does like him.
It's like, that seems like there actually is, like, Jen didn't just come out of freaking nowhere on the show. Like, there's actually a relationship that has been there.
And obviously it was more than just he owned the gym that she went to. Like, they had, maybe he was her trainer or something. I don't know. But, like, they clearly have known each other for a long time. So then it gets brought up about the FBI thing, and Ryan is totally just flubbing this whole explanation of, he's like, well, I'm sorry, let me think about this. He is a professional gambler, and he also is a bookie. Well, isn't that illegal? In California, I'm talking about Las Vegas.
It's
like
little static's going off.
And like there are red flags here.
I know, it's definitely sketchy.
And I honestly haven't cared enough to fully look into everything.
I know. I'm like, if it's
basically what I had heard, it seems like the friend was kind of like maybe getting some insider information or doing some like shady dealings, and then they were using that money in a different way, and then they have like a business together, and there was a shady thing because they said that the business address was like one of their houses in California. But, like, I don't know all the legalities.
Right.
And I think, it probably is shady. And like Emily said, Ryan goes to Vegas all the time. And how much is there to do in Vegas? Like, going to Vegas is his job.
Right. And it's just like, if you're rich, we're just kind of like finding out with these housewife people. If they're rich, it's a little too good to be true. Right. And they're probably not good people.
Right.
So.
There's definitely some shady things going on.
So.
And I mean, not to be judgmental here, but you take one look at Ryan and you're like, you're probably doing some like back alley deals. Then we go to Shannon's little birthday stuff. She's shopping with Katie and Heather.
It made me want to go to that tea house again.
Oh,
that's up around here.
This was a cute one too that they had.
I know. I thought they looked cute.
Just at the shopping thing, they try to show her like John's side of things with like the defamation thing, because she's like, he won't sign it, and they're like, well, he probably is coming from the perspective of that you would potentially, and then he can't defend himself, and she's like, no, he's just doing this to hurt me, he's out to get me. Like, she will not, she's so, which I get it, I guess.
I guess it feels that way if your ex is doing it.
But it's like, come on, how can you seriously sit here and be like, I haven't said anything?
And after you trashed him all last, I don't know.
And you trashed him to other people. And what you're going with the caveat of, well, I didn't say it.
Right.
Well, you told it to them and then they said it on camera.
Right.
Then we go to the actual party at the little tea place, and Shannon, of course, has to make a grand entrance. So she like comes
as the producers hold her in the back while Heather and Emily
they have their conversation.
Like, don't go out. Yeah, we gotta wait until everybody's sunny.
But Hannah, remember, Shannon doesn't like all the attention to be on her, so she definitely didn't plan to make a grand entrance on her. When she said that, I was like, Really, Shannon? Your actions would say otherwise.
Really? Because you love being a victim.
And all your physical comedy, like that's not for attention.
Yeah,
Come
no
on.
kidding.
So for the 1,000th time, we hear Emily and Heather talk about this situation that is never ending. And at this point, and they even cut to like a flashback where Emily's like, I want her to see me as a size 6 and not a size 12. And I'm just kind of getting tired of this.
I know. So is she a size 6?
But the dress fit her.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm just like confused about. Like if they took your measurements, that's the size you wear.
Like it wasn't a dig at you. It was literally they measured and made it to your measurements.
And even like if somebody's like, oh, I'm a size 12, it's like that doesn't mean much to me. Like I don't know. Like
the whole thing. Just I totally understand where she's coming from. I think it must, like, just as a woman in general, it is. We feel self-conscious. It is hard.
No matter how
comparing
much weight we lose or how much better we look.
Right. So I do get that. And I do understand that being out in Orange County, it must feel even more difficult if you are like not a size 2 or under. Like I get that. But at the same time, it's like, it feels like at this point you're bashing somebody who is a 12.
Right. And it's just giving very much like Demi Lovato at the yogurt shop when she saw the sugar-free granola bars.
Right. And like forgot it's like that diabetics
that
exist.
Other people exist. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know what more she wants from Heather. It's like, what is she? Heather's not, doesn't, I don't know. It's not Heather's fault that you were measured. I don't know. It's just so, if you're triggered by something and something triggers you, you can't expect everybody to know what's going to trigger you. Yeah,
especially if they don't know your triggers.
Right. And it's like, so the next time maybe you don't do the fashion show.
Right.
Like that's a trigger for me. You know, if you're on line or whatever and you see
maybe you turn your comments off, or maybe you don't read them.
Right. And it's like if you're scrolling through and you're like, oh, size 12 and you think they look bigger than you, it's like, well, if that's triggering you and making you think you're this horrific size, then don't look at it. I don't know. It's just kind of like at the point where it's like, okay, I don't know what else you want.
I know. And I guess because when I was listening to Turtle Time, and I think I said this at the time when this first came out, or maybe I just said it to you, but Amy was like, I am a size 12. And now like I'm starting to feel, I mean, it really, and like, let's be real here. The demographic for housewives are, I would say, kind of like middle America women. Mm-hmm. And they're not all size, zeros. Mm-hmm. So like for you to be like a 12, I mean, there are some women that would probably kill to be a 12, and that's so beautiful for them, and that's their goal. So it's like, while I understand her feelings, it's like she's totally not thinking about others at all.
She's mad Heather's not considering her feelings, but she's not considering anyone else's feelings.
No, and just how bad it, like the first time I can see, but this is like stretched out over so many episodes now. It's like,
because her apology wasn't good enough.
Right. And it's getting to feel like esophagus gate, where it's like, okay, the first time it was mentioned, all right, that was a little out of pocket. But then it was mentioned like 5 other times. It's like, now you're just coming off kind of like an ignorant, asshole. Like, come on.
Right.
So I just finally, Heather basically just says the exact same thing as she said.
She's like, I hear you
from the beginning.
Understand. I didn't want you to feel that way.
Yeah. And she's like, now can I explain my side? This is why I did these things, which like totally makes sense. And to be completely honest, like it also is like, even though you're friends, it isn't anyone's job to cater to you in that way, especially when this was a fashion show for charity.
Right. And it's like, if you don't know, I don't think Heather probably wouldn't have asked Emily to do it had she known all this was going to happen at this point. Like, she wasn't thinking that people's feelings were going to get hurt, but that they were just supporting this cause and her.
Right. And what more do you want from Heather when she's like, I tell you all the time, I think your body is unbelievable. Like, and I think that's like so valid coming from Heather, because I think that Heather is beautiful, but she definitely has a very slender frame, and she doesn't have curves. And maybe that's something that she wishes that she did have, and Emily has it.
Right.
So it's like her saying that to Emily, like, I mean, I don't get why that's not enough for you, where now you're going to think like, oh, my friend compliments me all the time.
Right.
But like, I don't believe any of that. And now I'm going to project it on them as if it's their fault, even though I've never told them that this is a real struggle for me.
Right.
So it was just silly. And then, of course, before that, we had Gina that was like, Heather's just so calculated, and she has to take that time, and it has to be on her terms, and she can't just have the conversation in the moment. But like we said earlier, why is that bad?
Right. And especially with this particular situation that's so sensitive.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And again, they're out to get Heather. They don't like her. We get it. Okay. We get it. They finally come back to the table. Tamra gives like a half apology to Jen, just so that it's not awkward, which like it still would be awkward even if you apologize. So that was silly. And Jen's kind of apprehensive of it, which she should be. Shannon comes in finally and does her reveal of the London trip, which I actually thought was funny, how she ripped the dress open. Everybody's excited because some of them haven't been there before, and I think that'll be like a fun little trip. You know, the big cast trips are always fun. She also again cannot stop talking about John. She brings up that, well, Heather got her those shoes, and then Emily was like, oh, she likes Ferragamo too, which brought up the John thing. And then she's like, well, I showed all the receipts to Emily. It's like, okay, psycho, like, what the heck are you doing?
I can't.
Like, come on. And then she brings that up. She's like, I showed all of them to her. I have them itemized. I blah, blah, blah. Like, she cannot stop talking about John. Like, that's what's so annoying is, you know, she'll be like,
She's
I just
so
want to
fixated on it.
I just want to have a relaxing time, and let's not talk about him. And then she brings him up.
I know.
And then I just about fell off my chair when the flowers were delivered, and they were from Alexis.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, I was obsessed with that. I know. And Shannon's like, who are they from, Shannon? Alexis Bellino. Like, so dramatic. I'm like, come on.
Like, she was freaking about to read the freaking Oscar winner. Like, it was so like,
I know.
She had to get her spectacles on.
I know. And look right into camera as she read. I mean, listen, I do get why she was annoyed by that.
Suing you, and it would be annoying to have the flowers, but I also like that Alexis did that.
I know, me too. And also, like, I mean, who's to say she's not being genuine? You guys have to be on this show together.
And it's like, even if I don't know, if I was fighting with somebody and they sent me flowers on my birthday, that would make me feel kind of good still.
Because, like, they're still pretty flowers.
Yeah, it's like, well, I still got flowers from somebody. They still thought of me, even though they hate me. I don't know.
And I just think it really, like, again, maybe we're on the wrong side of this, but in the last couple episodes, it has felt like Alexis was like, I need to find a way to coexist
or like,
here.
And this is his and her thing.
Yeah. And I think that she was like trying to just reach out and bury the hatchet and be like, and then in in response to that, Shannon says that she has a text pre-written out.
Shows, and you are not invited
to London.
Drops mic.
Yeah. And I'm like, everybody was like, oh. That's harsh. And she's just like, what? Well, I decided that I need to have boundaries for myself. Now that I'm 60, I need to finally put up boundaries. And she literally was like, again, she cannot stop talking about him. She keeps bringing him up. She's like, John is coaching her. He's the coach. She's fixated on that he's like this horrible mastermind. And then,
so then why aren't you giving Alexis a little bit of
more credit here?
If you're really feeling like he's this big
you
master.
think she's being manipulated, then like why aren't you a little bit more on her side? She's so dramatic over this. Like, this is why I just cannot take her seriously.
No, I can't take the victim.
No, she's like, she says, I'm a survivor, not a victim. Of what, Shannon? Like, you're acting like you were physically abused.
Literally.
And then she's like, I just think this strength is coming from inside of me. I'm like, come on. Like, this to me is just full delusion.
Yeah, and it's like, like she went into this season to be the victim.
Yeah. 100%.
After she got her DUI, that made her look really bad.
Yeah, how can I play this off and spin it around? And she's not letting go.
Super calculated. Didn't even Tamara say that recently?
Yeah, I think she did something along those lines.
Yeah, like, no, she knows what she's doing. She's not a little mouse.
Well, but apparently having that opinion is wrong, and we all need to just blindly believe and go with whatever Shannon's saying. I thought it was cute to finally get off the topic of John and Alexis when I think Emily was the one that said, let's all share a funny moment with Shannon. And that was kind of cute to like hear what some of the ladies said and then bring the flashbacks. Those are always fun little housewife moments. And then, with the text, they said, Shannon, hold off on sending that. Like, let Jen and...
So did she never sent that then, right?
No, she did.
Okay, so she did send it.
Yeah, this is what didn't make any sense. So Katie and Jen said, hold on, let us tell her.
Yeah, because I ended up getting confused by then. I'm like, wait, did she send it or didn't she send it?
Because at this time, they're like, don't send it. Let us break the news. So you're like, okay, so they're going to tell her instead of the text. But then she ends up sending the text seemingly while Katie and Jen are there, or they just arrived at the house. So then they were there to like lessen the blow. But it's like, it just, that was mean, I think.
I thought it was mean.
Like, and she could have worded it in a different way. And I think, I don't know, maybe it was Juicy Scoop or I don't know what I was listening to when they were talking about it. But it's like, I know that they make it seem like the cast members plan the trips,
right?
But it's the producers. So technically, Shannon should not have actual say in this. So it just makes me wonder, did the producers make the decision to not bring Alexis? Did Alexis have something going on where she couldn't even go and they turned this into a storyline? Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, or Shannon maybe was like, I'm not going to go if she's going. And then they loved that reaction.
So then they...
Just evil.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So then the next episode, they're going to London and in London, right?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. As I said, I don't know if we're on the wrong side of history here, but I just am not buying the victim mentality from Shannon.
It's like, I'm just so over it. Like, I'm just rolling my eyes when I'm watching it when she gets on that kick. I'm like,
she's just so unwilling to think any other way.
No.
Where, again, it's like, okay, I guess I get where she's coming from too, But like, I don't know. I guess even when she was talking about like the boundary thing, I'm like, are you just so not well adjusted that these are just now things that you're trying to bring into your life when you're 60?
Right. And it's like, I guess for me, I hope if I was on this reality show, I could take it for what it is. Like, obviously, if I was really having a girls' trip, I wouldn't be inviting my ex's
right
fling. So it's like, I feel like
fiance now they're together for real. They're true love
now, but not in the episode. Well, whichever. It's just like, I hope I could take it with like, okay, I'm doing this for the show.
It's your job.
Yeah, it's like, it sucks to have her here, but like, it's not real. Like, this wouldn't really be happening.
Like, there's not a reality where all of them are actually going on a trip together anyway. So, yeah, I know. And I don't know. I think it might have been more compelling to have Alexis go on the trip, too.
I agree. Like a little separate thing. And then they have to, like, be together at a dinner.
Yeah. Or, like, they're the first two to show up after getting ready at the hotel, you know. So what do you think that this is meaning for the possibility of Alexis being on next season?
I don't know, because it does feel as though a lot of people are not taking as well to Alexis being back on. But I don't know. They might not let her come back.
I know. I was kind of thinking that too.
It's just kind of
I think it's unfair.
I think it's kind of unfair too. And I think it would be cool if we got Alexis back and then like a friend for Alexis, like some kind of
ally,
something. Yeah, just to like switch it up a little. I don't know though.
Well, the other thing that we forgot to mention was how John and Alexis had their little confessional and
the jump scare.
Yeah, and people were so dramatic about it. And again, I'm just like, Shannon and John were not a good couple.
Right.
Like, they shouldn't have been together.
Right. And it's like, if you're the friggin' topic of every episode, like,
you're gonna do it.
Right. And it's like, of course, the producers are going to want to have him sit down and give a little something.
And he got paid for it.
I know.
I mean, he's going to do. And it was what? Like, they only talked about the situation. Right. It's not like he was there saying, like, oh, well, you know, Alexis came home and told me about this trip and this is my opinion on Tamra. Like, he wasn't giving any other sort of commentary to the show besides what is the huge plot line this season. So I was just like, of course he would be on.
Right.
Like, give him a break. My God.
I know. I thought, I was like, well, yeah, of course at some point. You're like, well, you just when you be on the show. It's like, no, but if you're the whole topic of the show, I don't know.
But he also was still on the show. Like, last season, we did see him with Shannon. Like, there were the moments of them on the boat and in his house. Like, we had that. So, okay, maybe he doesn't want to be on the show, but if we're literally just comparing last season to this season, he is not on the show at all, basically.
Right.
Whatever. All right. Any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
The only thing I like, I thought Tamra's talking head look, where she's like got that white flower shirt. I thought she looked really pretty, and that's just what I wanted to say.
Well, because also that black, like, tuxedo-like dress, I don't think is the most flattering.
No.
Like, her face looks good.
Yeah,
but
like her hair. But
I didn't love that. So seeing something...
That white one, I was like, oh, I like that. Yeah. She looks really pretty and so angelic.
Well, we know that's a facade.
You know, she's
the complete opposite.
Anyway.
Well, Hannah and I still have to decide what book we want to read and are able to read for our next book club. So if anybody has any suggestions, since we both do audiobooks, and even if we got them from the library as physical books, it is a little hard sometimes to get the new releases, just because,
unfortunately,
I do want to do Wilder Valderrama's book.
Yeah.
But I looked that up, and that is not anytime soon would we be able to get that one. I heard it was just like painted him in the most glowing light ever.
And he's like, not great.
Yeah, when you think about all, like, I think Celebrity Memoir Book Club posted like all of his girlfriends, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about this.
The Demi Lovato.
Yeah, this isn't coming off very well. But if you guys have any suggestions about what we should read next, please let us know. We'd love to hear that.
Remember when, back to Wilmer Valderrama, when Ashley Simpson wrote that I Didn't Steal Your Boyfriend song about him, and I think, was it Lindsay?
That's what I was going to say, Lindsay. Yeah. Those were the days. Those were the days. Good old diss tracks.
I know.
Love it.
Anyway.
I'm going to recommend just going to the pumpkin patch and maybe picking out some like unique pumpkins. I know this is so lame. People are going to be like, but I got some of the like soft toned pumpkins, like the cream. I got like that rich green, that dark green, and like a lighter orange one, and they're just, the aesthetic fits in with my apartment so well. And I got like regular pumpkins for my dad and grandpa, but it was just really fun to go out, and even if you don't have any kids, like, I think it is enjoyable to just pick out pumpkins for your home.
It is, and I did that this year. And it was nice because it's like at the end of the year, I don't have to store any fall decorations. I can just pitch them.
I will say though, like, because I got stuff for me and then my daddy and my grandpa, and then I also got a mum, but I dropped like $60.
I know, they're expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, not cheap.
Yeah, like my outside ones I think were $30. I don't remember what my inside ones were, but I was like,
it's no joke. Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess when, like, if I divided it up amongst 3 people, like $20 each isn't that bad. But it's still, when you think about it, it's pumpkins that aren't going to last like next season. So it's kind of just a funny expense. But
it's so fun to have.
I know it is fun. And for us, the weather's getting a little cooler now. So, you know, you might want to take advantage of getting those pumpkins now, because it's just going to not feel the same as like fall-y if it's freezing at the pumpkin patch when you go. Then you'll need the hot apple cider.
Yes. I am going to recommend Desmond Dennis. He does some nice R&B nursery rhymes.
Oh.
And it's fun. The Itsy Bitsy Spider is great. Just great.
Wait, does he sing them? Or oh, he does.
Yeah, he sings them just like the classic ones. I think he does some other like cover songs too from other stuff. But he's got a great voice.
So if you have kids,
go ahead and listen.
That's
even
enjoyable.
If you don't have kids, it's so good.
If you need a lullaby,
some smooth, just switch it up, because nothing's worse than listening to other kids singing nursery rhymes.
God,
die.
That was what were the ones when they would always do those covers of...
The Kid Bop?
No, it was for babies. They were lullabies, but it would be like just an instrumental cover of the like Kanye West or any pop like mainstream radio song.
Which is fun.
It was fun because like there's no lyrics, so it's not like bad or anything for a kid, and then you can have some fun too because you know the song. I can't remember what those are called.
No, I haven't heard like. I feel like that stuff was like even that like the Little Einsteins remix and stuff. It's like nobody.
Well, even Kids Bop, those things are still coming out, but remember they used to be like huge.
Yeah, it's like we don't hear about like that anymore.
No,
but anyway, I recommend listening to him because they're bops.
Love it. Something different. Well, make sure to follow us on our socials and to give us a nice rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Interact with us, give us some comments, throw us some likes, tell your friends. We need all the help we can get out here. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.